Hard. April 30th, 2023. This will probably be hard. I don't know why I wanted to separate what I was going to write down today into a different document. It sounds as though it might become a writing experience that I might find difficult to enjoy, especially since it talks about arguments of atheism, which I am highly against. I also noticed that this document is called Patience Project, which would probably be a message from me to myself saying that I either will need to be patient with my writing or that this writing itself requires patience to complete. Whether it has a purpose or not, I'm not fully sure anymore. I move in disagreement to what I wrote above. I write. In fact, I know that it does have a purpose. I just don't know if it will correlate to the project upon which I'm thinking of embarking. I have an exam tomorrow about computer science theory, and I have been reviewing the last couple of days, but I did not fully understand everything. I actually thought that this class was useless to me. It was fast-paced, and the instructor seemed to be rushing through the material that I ended up not knowing whether or not I'm prepared to take the exam tomorrow. But during the review, the TA explained how, in order to prove that a language is NP, meaning that it can be non-deterministically solved in polynomial time, I thought of using this for my coming up class about natural language processing, somehow. If a language is not recognizable by a Turing machine and we can reduce it to another language, then the other language is also not recognizable by a Turing machine. It looks as though we are labeling every language or a set of strings to be unrecognizable, in which case the language would lose its efficiency in the world of Turing machines. In other words, if our world was based on Turing machines everywhere and these machines identify another language that does not have a database to which it could compare it, it deems it unrecognizable. Therefore, dumps it by reducing it to another language into a cluster of unrecognizable language, as if the Turing machine is crying out, "Good riddance." It seems ridiculous to think of it this way. It is as if we are impersonating a Turing machine and treating it like it had a choice of what to say. Still, the idea of being able to recognize a language by the Turing machine works the same way. We can recognize a language if we can reduce it to another language that is recognizable. It is as if we are creating a database of grammar and sentence structure from a new language through finding a correlated language structure, which the new language can be reduced to. In other words, if we speak English, it is recognizable to us. But then, when we learn a new language, we simply compare the language structure of the new language with the already known English structure. If machine learning is all that simple in principle, then why is it hard to get into? I had a different idea that I wanted to write, not this one. The main idea was that all languages are recognizable by God, and He can communicate with all people despite their different languages and the ways they think, which ultimately proves His existence. Instead, here I am rewriting about my studies rather than things I want to write about. I write. Is it a bad idea to think of machine learning and natural language processing to prove the existence of God? They teach us a lot of things that I find hard to digest or to understand based on my beliefs. The moral spectator theory should have been proof enough. I really wanted to move this to a different document. I hope my writing doesn't impact my beliefs as much as it did before I removed it. Or if it did at all, I don't know. In any event, I have to study. No, I'm not hopeless of your mercy. I just want to continue being faithful, is all.